Hey guys. So do you think that's a lot of books from the library? This is my currently checked out. um, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 in that pile. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. I don't have a problem, do I? Yeah. This has been, I've renewed some several times. The ones I'll show you really quick though are the ones that I've had or that I have from my Triple RC challenge for right now, because I've already showed you them in another book video. So Jodi Thomas, Welcome to Harmony. Rita Mae Brown and Sneaky Pie Brown, Wish You Were Here. Two cozy, no, this is a cozy mystery. This is, I think, a contemporary romance, or maybe not. 16-year-old runaway Reagan has always wanted a place to belong. She never had a real home of her own, but maybe she can borrow someone else's, at least for a little while. And small towns are like families. Everyone lives very close together and everyone keeps secrets. So, Reflected in You, a Crossfire novel by Sylvia Day. It's book 2. And yeah, lots of sexy times. Power Down by Ben Coes, or Coos. I can't even remember. I think this has to do with a federal agents, stuff like that. So there's that one. Now, to get these down a little bit. There we go. As I was pulling them over here, they toppled, so they got mixed up. There we go. Okay. The other ones, you can kind of see what that one is, and that one. There. And that one. Okay, Lending a Paw by Laurie Cass. This is a cozy mystery. It's book 1 in the Bookmobile Cat Mysteries. And Eddie followed Minnie home one day, and now she can't seem to shake the furry little shadow. With the help of her rescue cat, Eddie, librarian Minnie Hamilton is driving a bookmobile based on the resort town of Chilson, Michigan, which is just south of me. But she'd better keep both hands on the wheel because it's going to be a bumpy ride. And there's A Courtesan's Guide to Getting Your Man, Celeste, by Celeste Bradley and Susan Donovan. I don't think this is a historical. I think it's just, yeah, Boston present day. But I think it's got a little bit of time travel, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1813. So, romance. And Room by Emma Donoghue. And I think everybody knows what this one's about. A kidnapped woman who has a baby in a room, and she brings up the baby, and the baby talks to things as if they're alive, I think. And he's 5, if I'm not mistaken. I know I did have... Did I have another one? Or maybe not. And I wrote... I didn't see this message. I'm so sorry. And this is to Alana from Alana Reads. Please forgive me. I know I had asked to do the buddy read of this book, and then I kind of went AWOL. And I haven't talked to you, and I've been meaning to message you, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But it's Lover Unbound by J.R. Ward. If I can renew this again, I will be so happy to do the buddy read with you. If you've already read it, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. So there's that one. And that is it book 4 or book 5 in the Black Dagger Brotherhood book series by J.R. Ward. Good series. So I don't know if I want to do the nonfiction next, or because I have a lot of those too. Oh yeah, the other one that I had was, this one's been renewed so many times that I really need to finish it, and it's Inside the Mind of a Teen Killer by Phil Chalmers. And I failed to mention, in the back it shows like a list from, when did it start? 1786 of all kids that have killed, and you see a huge increase in like this millennium. But it still has, when did it happen? The West Memphis 3 from 1993, and they've been deemed innocent. They've been, so when was this written? 2009. So yeah, there's just a bunch of things of why teens kill, but the stupid thing is he puts an ad for his website on the end of every single chapter, and it's kind of ego much. Ugh. There we go. Okay. So I was gonna do this as the read along for the is it We Love Our Cozies? It's a group on Goodreads, and yeah, it's something about cozies. We love our cozies, save our cozies, cozy mystery, something in the title. I'll try and put the link down below. But they were reading this. Is it March or April? Could have even been May. I think it was April. Anyways, it's Time of Death by Susan Wittig Albert. And yeah, and time is, the spice of time. So I think it's book 1 in a series. I couldn't tell you what the series name is. First mystery that will become a favorite. China Bales mystery. So there's that. Then I have Beastly Bones by William Ritter. It's book 2 in the Jacoby series. Cat first up to it. Yeah, so I read the first Jacoby and I thought it was kind of quirky. So I figured I'd check it out. And then I read The Prince, I think, in this. Okay. As an e-book. And it's The Guard, I think, that I have not read. And it's from the selection. And it's by Kirkas. And I'm just kind of brain farting right now. So they also have, I think it's called Happily Ever After, where all 4 of them are in there, but it's an ebook and it drives me nuts. So I'll get it eventually to get the other stories, but there's this one. I only have to do like 1 book in here and I still can't get to it. So those are all nonfiction. For that one. Yeah, nonfiction. Alright. Sorry. And then I seen Reality Boy by A.S. King. I've never read any A.S. King. And I seen it there and I thought, I might check it out. I think it's about a kid on a reality, but things are not as they seem. Oh, it's got short chapters too. Have I ever said how much I hate long chapters? Anyways, so these are nonfiction. And today I just went to the library and got these ones. So the next one in the series of Jim Butcher, the Frank Dresden Files, is book 5, and it's Death Masks. Can't really see it there. I miss Harry Dresden. I love the books. Oh, I'm gonna have a mess to clean up later. My daughter had to read this in grade 9 English, and I've never read an Agatha Christie book in my life. My grandmother loved her. And I do have a couple, but they're part of the Miss Marple series or the Hercule Poirot series, so I don't want to start another series right now, even though I do. But I know this one is not a series, it's a standalone, and it's one of her most popular ones. And then there were none. My daughter, she used to read, and then she had to read 2 books for school, and she's loved both of them. And one of my subscribers has sent her a book, and she started reading it, and then she just social media. So she had to read this for grade 9, and then last semester she read To Kill a Mockingbird and loved it. Last semester? Yeah. And loved it. So we actually bought her a copy for Christmas. She loved it that much. So she loved this one too. And for her to actually get on board and read and love a book, yeah. like I said, she used to read. Social media has taken over her life. And then I picked up The Autumn Bride by Anne Gracie. This is a quartet. It starts with The Autumn Bride, then there's The Winter Bride, The Spring Bride, and The Summer Bride. And this one was always out. Every time I went to get it, The Autumn Bride was always gone. So it was there, I grabbed it. And it's, of course, historical romance. And then I was looking for books with stars on the cover because it was one of the challenges for last month. And I hadn't realized how thick this was. So I didn't end up reading it last month. But it is Star Glass by Phoebe North. I'd never heard of it before. It's really hard to see. But I think it's a standalone, like, science fiction. Tara has never known anything but life aboard the Ashura, a city within a spaceship that left Earth 500 years ago in search of refuge. At 16, working a boring job and living with a grieving father who only notices her enough to yell, Tara is sure that there has to be more to life than what she's got. And I think they go to another planet or they meet up another ship, something like that. So I'm still gonna, if I ever get to it, if my reading funk will go bye-bye. That is a nonfiction. Nonfiction. Yep, nonfiction. I've been trying to read this, I don't know how many, quite a while now. I want to know if I want to buy them so I'm going to try this one first. I think this is one of those, you either love it or hate it, or from what I hear, you either love her writing or you hate it. And it's Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Enough said. But I do love the covers. They're purple. I was just walking down the aisle one day and I seen this and it jumped right out of me. And when I think I read had to do with the word, 1982 in Italy. And if you don't know, I studied Italian in high school. I am French, or half French anyways. I'm half English, I'm half French. Little smidge Indian, like native Indian. And my husband is German, Italian, and a little smidge of native Indian as well. But you'd never know it, I'm pure white. But I loved Italian, and we were forced to take French. I did my grade 9. Once I was done my French, I was done. I wish my father had spoken to me French more often than what he did, because I would love to be fluent in it. But anyways, I took Italian in high school, and I took 2 years of it, and you didn't even need any. And if you know this city, 50% of the city is Italian. So I had a wonderful teacher. He was awesome. But I fell in love with Italy and stuff like that. So, and this has to do with the World Cup, which I know it's soccer. That's it. I don't know anything more about it, but I don't know. It just jumped out. And it's The Deliverance of Evil by Roberto Constantini. So, and it's a chunker. But it just, I don't know. There was something about it that just, like, it's an investigation. Somebody dies, I think. When a cover jumps out. And then I'm starting to get onto the Sophie Kinsella bandwagon. When I first read Shopaholic, I was not in the right frame of mind to read her, and it was kind of sort of pissing me off. But now I realize that it's one of those, it's a funny romantic comedy, not supposed to be taken seriously kind of books. So I like reading her now. But this one is Finding Audrey by Sophie Kinsella. I seen it there. I just figured I'd pick it up. I know she's agoraphobic. She doesn't like going outside, or she doesn't like to be near people, so she wears sunglasses to kind of, bring herself down a bit. Not in a bad way, just to make things easier for herself. And then, again, I seen this. I've heard so much about it, and it's Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. So I've heard that if you love it, you love it. If you don't, you don't. So it's one of those things. We're getting there, guys. This one, I've always been told that this one was in the other branch of the library, which is across town, which is like a 20-minute drive. And I don't feel like going there, and I didn't feel like putting it on hold and waiting 2 or 3 days to get it in. And when I was walking down the aisle and seeing it there, I scooped it up. And it is E for Evidence by Sue Grafton. It's the next 5th book in the Kizzie series. And keep in mind when you read these, they are dated. I don't mind that because, you know, I'm not exactly 19 years old. But you have to keep in mind that social media did not exist when these were written. Like, cell phones didn't exist when these were written. When was it written? 1988. Which is that? So, yeah. I was in grade 7 and 8 back then when these were written. So, yeah. I like them, though. They're cute. And I've had this out, and then I've had to renew it, and then I've had to give it back, and then I've had it out again. So, Disappearance at Devil's Rock by Paul Tremblay. I don't know if it's a psychological thriller or if it's just a thriller, but yeah. These, let's see, that one's a nonfiction. These next 4 are because my son was enjoying them so much that we got them the next, next couple in the series. And then he decided that he didn't want to read them. Right at that point, he's reading a book, a nonfiction book about Steve Jobs and Apple. And yes, he's 11. I started reading adult books when I was 10, 11 too. So he still likes them. I'm sure we'll still read them. But right now he's into Steve Jobs and Apple. He's got 3 books, 3 nonfiction books about Steve Jobs. So, or Jobs. I always say it the way he doesn't like it, just to tick him off. Anyways, so this is book 6, 7, 8. Is this 9 or 5? 9th. So, I'm sure you know what series this is. But it is a series of unfortunate events, and it is book 6, The Ersatz Elevator. Book 7, The Vile Village. Book 8, The Hostile Hospital. And book 9, The Carnivorous Carnival. And when he's seen the thickness of these, he's kind of cringed. But I mean, the book that he's reading now is just as thick. He didn't like The Miserable Mill as much. That was book 4. But he liked book 5. But like I said, he wanted to read his Steve Jobs books. So we'll get back to that in a bit. So now, my nonfiction. I really love true crime. You know that. But I also like disasters. Yeah, so I grabbed this one. This is Joseph Wambaugh, Fire Lover. I know the store. He was a fire chief, and every time he traveled, he would set a store on fire, but he would try and make it look like an arsonist. And what was it? One of the ones, he did it in a fabric store, and a woman and child, I think, died because he thought it would be a slow burn, and in fact it went up so fast that they couldn't even get out of the store. So then they kind of looked back and looked at where he had traveled and where the fires were, and they kind of put 2 and 2 together. So that's about John Orr. O-R-R. Oh boy. And then there's The Innocent Man, Murder and Injustice in a Small Town by John Grisham. I have no idea what this one. He was a baseball player, I think. Major League Draft. And then he ended up killing somebody. So I don't know what his name. Ron Williamson. I've never heard of him. He played for the Oakland A's. So yeah, there's that one. Yeah, what a mess. The Lonely Section of Hell by Laurie Schenner. The botched investigation of a serial killer who almost got away. Was this about Pinkton? Yep, Robert Pickton. He had a farm, and he would kill prostitutes and feed them to the pigs. It happened in Vancouver. Is it Vancouver? She's a Vancouver. But yeah, it happened in BC, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I've not read anything about it, but I remember when it happened. It was huge when it happened. This guy is pretty insane. So, Comrade Chikatilo, The Psychopathology of Russia's Notorious Serial Killer by Mikhail Krivich and Olgert Olgin. This guy was mental. He was impotent. He managed to have a couple of kids, but he ended up killing a bunch of people in Russia. And he, in fact, exposed himself on trial that he was impotent, and he slapped himself. It is on video, but yeah. So it's always, one of them kind of books. So then there's Illusion of Justice and Inside Making a Murder in America's Broken System by Jerome F. Buting. I know the show Making a Murderer was based on this, but I think they got some things wrong from what I hear. But it was a guy who took advantage of a kid. I don't know if he's mentally younger than what he is. Like, he doesn't have the capacity of what his age should be. So the guy kind of took advantage of it. So I'm not sure. I think that I know I've heard little blurbs about it. I haven't seen too much about it. I've seen a documentary on it, but I can't really remember a whole lot of it. But yeah, so that's the book. Then I loved investigative reports, American Justice, Cold Case Files on A&E. They were my favorite shows. And so I love Bill Curtis, anything that Bill Curtis does. And so this is The Death Penalty on Trial, Crisis in America by Bill Curtis. So, and I wish those shows were still made. I really do. I loved Bill Curtis. I loved the way he put out the cases in that, although there was one shot in our city, because there was one case, that a cold case that was in our town and like a neighboring small little town. And when they were talking about the small little town, they were actually showing downtown here. So they got that little snippet wrong, but yeah, I love Bill Curtis. Almost done. 4 more books. So these are, in a way they're true crime, in a way they're not. Well, this one is. This one's still true crime, and that's The Donnellys Must Die by Orlo Miller. The Donnellys were a family from Ireland. They moved to Lucan, Ontario, and they were very, I want to say antagonistic, but they were antagonistic when somebody did something to them. So when somebody kind of like made them pay more than everybody else around them, they retaliated. If somebody said something about their family, they retaliated. So it wasn't them starting out mean and vicious, but because things happened the way they did, and so much, that they were called the Black Donnellys. They were just mean, vicious people. It was a family. So the whole town took it upon themselves to go after them. And they killed them along with a niece from out of town. So unfortunately she got caught in the crossfire. But yeah. So and there's the headstone for the whole entire Donnellys. It's hard to see. But their house had finally been torn down, I think, and somebody lives on the property, but there's still the area where the house was. Because there was remnants. They had burned the house down. And the marker, I think it's still there. Or else they've changed or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's a famous one. So these 3 are kind of just nonfiction books. So not last year, but the year before, I read The Devil in the White City by Eric Larson. and it was touted as true crime. It was more about the World's Fair and a crime that happened alongside of it than it was of true crime. So I think I gave it a 3 because it was still a well-written book, but there wasn't as much true crime as I was expecting. So I went into it looking at true crime and found out about the building of the World's Fair in the 1800s. I can't remember the year. So now knowing how he writes, I'll probably like his other books better. So I got Thunderstruck by Eric Larson, and is it about a, oh wow, big map. Tells the interwoven stories of two men, Howley Crippen, a very unlikely murderer, and Guglielmo Marconi, the obsessive creator of a seemingly supernatural means of communication, the Marconi Morse code thing, whose lives intersect during one of the greatest criminal chases of all time. Set in Edwardian London and goes to Cape Cod, Nova Scotia, a whole bunch of stuff. So, I mean, from the look of it, it looks like it's on a boat. Hard. There, a little bit. So, and then I was in the library and seen this, and it jumped out at me. So it's The Girls of Murder City, Fame, Lust, and the Beautiful Killers Who Inspired Chicago by Douglas Perry. And I've never seen Chicago. I don't do musicals unless it's the one with Dolly Parton and Burt Reynolds. Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. Love that movie. Anyways, so there's that one. And finally, the last one. Wow, half an hour to go through library books. The Girls of Atomic City, The Untold Story of the Women Who Helped Win World War II by Denise Kiernan. I love anything about World War II. I don't know why. I took it in history, but the first time I took it around, it wasn't that in-depth, and the second time I had to take it for the different grade, we got more in-depth, and I just became enthralled with World War II. I don't know why, but, so yeah, there's that one. So if you've stuck around this long for all 36 library books, great. If not, sorry. Anyway, so that is my library currently checked out for now. Some of them will probably go bye-bye. Because they'll probably be due. In fact, 2 of them are tomorrow. No, Wednesday. So, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for sticking around with me while I was gone AWOL. Alana, again, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I hope to get back into the making videos because I do miss it. Yeah, so I guess I just needed a break. But I'm hopefully back, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later.